All right, it's now time. We're gonna completely edit a project. For once, I know. It's been a long time coming. So this project that we're gonna edit, 123 Main Street. All right, so all the photos are already imported. All of my raw images are in a folder just named the address. And then all of my drone photos are in a folder named the address plus drone. You can call these folders whatever you want, however you want to do your file sorting. The first step is I'm actually going to come into Photomatix Pro 6, come up to the top, hit Automate, Batch Bracketed Photos, make sure my exterior is selected, Image Alignment, Ghost Removal, Images at a Time 5, because I took 5 brackets of HDR when I did the drone photos. We're going to make sure subfolder within source folder is selected, save results as a JPEG, and I select JPEG quality at 80. The source, I'm making a folder, and then I'm selecting the source folder, and I'm going to hit 123 Main Street drone. And then I'm going to hit select, and then I'm going to run this. All right, now while this is running, I'm going to come into Lightroom Classic. It's a really cool image. I'm going to hit import, and I'm going to import all of the raw files. And we're not going to select a preset. We don't need to import with any presets. And now here are our photos. So fetching initial previews, we can just X out of this. We don't need the software to do that. Then we're going to scroll down. Here we are. We're going to select all of our exteriors, and we're going to export these as, I usually say a.ext for exterior, and then dot the address, 123 main. So the A basically makes sure this folder, when I'm sorting by name, is at the top, so it's very easy to click. They're all in the same place, especially if your desktop gets very crowded with a lot of different files and folders. It's just easier if everything's at the top, so if everything starts with an A. And then you can name this whatever you want. I'm going to name them HDR just because these files are going to be merged into HDR. I usually don't name them IMG for image because that's what we use as our finals. I just like to keep it different. Starting number 1, make sure custom name sequence is selected, and then JPEG quality 100, color space sRGB, no limit to file size, and then image sizing, we're just going to make sure we're in that 300 pixels per inch for the image sizing. And I like saving everything to desktop. So we're going to export these, and then we're going to select all of these interiors, and we're actually going to come up to white balance and select auto. Sometimes you have to do it twice for it to work because it's a little finicky, but yep, just make sure everything's on auto, and then we can come down and export these as well. And the only thing we're going to change is this EXT, we're going to change it to INT for interior. And we're going to export these. And now we just have to wait. That will take a minute or two to do. If you had like 3 or 4 houses that you photographed this day and you were doing this all at one time and you had 8 things exporting, it might take anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes to do, really dependent on the speed of your computer. But we're just going to wait for that to happen, and I'm going to be back in 1 second. All right, now that this is all set, I'm going to select the folder within this folders tab, and I'm going to control and select it and then hit remove. This will delete the folder and all of the files associated with it. So Lightroom is clear again. All right, once that's all deleted, we can quit Lightroom Classic. And as you can see, these drone photos have finished. So we can just X out of that. And we have these 2 here. I guess I shouldn't have X'd out of Photomatix because I'm going right back into it. So I'm going to do the exterior first. So I'm going to select 3 for this because I use 5 brackets of HDR for the drone photos and 3 brackets of HDR for the photos taken with the camera. So merging 3 photos at a time, select folder, desktop, exterior, select, run. So make sure that when you go to do another one, you say automate batch bracketed photos to get another window pops up, because if you try to do it in the same window, it will stop the other one and it will mess you all up. Make sure interior is selected when you're doing interiors. And then for the interiors, because we're inside and we're on a tripod, we don't need image alignment. And because, there's no birds flying around or trees swaying in the wind, we do not need ghost removal. So we're just going to select folder and select the interiors. And then we're just gonna hit select and run. So why we don't just keep ghost removal and image alignment selected when we run the interiors is it takes a lot longer to process the HDR photos if these two things are going on at the same time. So as you can see, if I scroll down, it takes a few seconds for each exterior to happen, while down in the interiors, you can kind of see they're going a lot faster, if that makes sense. So we don't want to slow down the computer any more than we have to, because this process does take a few minutes. So a lot of times, if I had 3 projects, I would get them all to this point, and then I would walk away, get myself some food, play on my phone. Usually takes, for like multiple projects, this process usually takes a few minutes, usually between 10 and 15. So I'll see you when all these HDR photos are merged. Another side note about this, sometimes when you have multiple of these screens running, the program will crash and you'll have to start all the way over. So it really depends on your computer, on how many windows you can have open before it will tend to crash. So I recommend just playing around with it. I usually weigh on the side of pushing my computer to its absolute limits. Like I'll run 8 of these windows at the same time and just kind of hope for the best. Might not be the best strategy. Maybe doing them in groups of 4 will work better, but just see what your computer is capable of. Your computer, depending on the specs of it, might be able to run 6, might be able to run 8, might be able to run 10. Just test it out and make sure you're cautious of it crashing, because if it does crash, you have to rerun the entire process. So just keep that in mind. All right, now that these are complete, we're just going to X out of them. X out of Photomatix entirely. And then, so this original 123 Main Street folder is no use to us right now. It's just all the raw files. So we can actually trash that. And then I'm going to go into this drone folder and I'm going to delete all of the raw files. Just going to get them out of here, move them to trash. And then we're going to do that with all of the folders. So you can see there's this Photomatix results, which is the finished Photomatix photos. So that's all we need. Move those to trash. We're just moving everything to trash. We're just getting rid of, we're just dumping all of these photos that are useless to us now. And we got to do this before we go into Lightroom, which you'll see why in a second. And then I'm going to take the exteriors, these drone, and put them in the exterior folder. I'm going to go into Lightroom Classic, and I'm going to import the exteriors with, our user presets are up here, our exterior preset. And as you can see, this is the house we actually did the exteriors. We made the exteriors preset and the interior presets on. So then we'll come down here. I'm just going to go to the one selection and I'm just going to go flagging photos. So to flag a photo, you just click P. So I like this one, so I'm going to flag it. And then I like this one. I like that one, that one. And usually the first time I run through these photos, I'm doing it very rough. I'm trying to get it done quick. And then I'll be more precise in my selections later. So if I see 2 photos that I'm not sure which one's better, I'll select both and decide later. All right, and I think as you can see, the photos changed a little bit. So the drone photos are actually, the time on my drone is probably a little off because it was recently daylight savings. So the drone photos and the normal photos are kind of intertwined, which we can edit them separately just by coming over to this library tab. And then if I just want to edit these photos, I can come here. I can just edit the ground photos. So I'm gonna go down to flag. I have 19 images flagged, not even including the drone. So we're gonna want to get that number down. So now, like, do I like this picture better or do I like this picture better? Because like including both of these would be pretty redundant. Like this picture is including the tree, so I don't mind that. But that one or that one, what do we like better? And I think that I like the second one better, so I'm gonna unselect that one. And this is all subjective. You might have a different opinion than me, and that's fine. It honestly, it doesn't matter too much. Real estate, we don't have to be 100% on what we're doing. We just have to be close enough, if that makes sense. So I don't really like that image. I like that one. I don't like this one as much as I like the tree in it. I like how that shows the yard. This shows the driveway really well, which I like. I like that one. Gotta say, I like... Ugh. This is a toss-up. Not 100% sure which one I like here. Probably that one. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. Alright. I like this picture a lot because it shows the yard off pretty well. There's not much of a yard, but this is probably the best image of it. Then this shows off the pond behind the house. This shows off the back of the house. It's a nice angle. Probably don't need both of these angles. I think I'm going to keep that one. And, well, let's see how the drone images, what we got in the drone images. And then we can decide what we'll get rid of a little more. So, come to the drone real quick. I like that image. I like that. I like that. I like that. Don't need all three of these, just the main one. So yeah, flagged. So we got 4. And let's just get all of them selected. So, flagged. So we get 18 images. 18 images we can work with. That's an okay number. But getting it down 15 or below for the exterior is usually better. I mean, do we need this front door shot? Probably not. Not a crazy nice front door, but I think I'm going to keep it. Do we need that shot? Probably. Do we need that shot? Probably. Do we need this shot? Because we do have this. That's just kind of a zoomed in version of the same thing. I think we do. I think I like that. We have a lot of this angle. We have these 3 images. So we have that. Do you know what? I'm going to get rid of this one. And then I'm going to this one versus this one. Going to get rid of this one. Now we got 16. Which, you know what? 16. I think that's a good number. I think that's what we're going to work with. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the white balance. So I had my white balance on cloudy. It's a cloudy day, so it's pretty much there. But I think these could all be these are a little too warm. Anywhere between -5 and -8 is the place where these should be. Probably not -10. I saw -10. It's a little too much for my taste, but oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay. This one actually looks good on -10. That one looks good on -10. This one needs to be a little lighter, or a little warmer. Yeah, -10 is good for that. -11. And this one could even be a little warmer. That makes sense, but anyways, this one could be a little darker. A lot of these exteriors, we're not really touching the brightness. A lot of them are in a good spot. I say that as I touch brightness on this one. But yeah. Yeah, that one's way too warm. Yeah, I like that. Like that a lot. So, next thing. Drone images. We need to crop these. So, we hit the crop button, go to 2x3, and make sure that's all lined up with the horizon. That's good. 2x3. Make sure the house is centered, showing off this kind of pond. That's the other drone photo. Alright. because we want all the images to be the same. And we're going to make sure this is lined up exactly with the house. Yeah, that looks good. So now we're going to do the geometry. So we're going to scroll down to geometry, hit auto for this one. Do not like what auto did to that. There's really not much on this image. This one, so what we're doing is we're the rotate slider first, and we're gonna see this little arrow. That's the middle of the photo. So we're gonna follow that kind of midline down, and I'm looking at the lines on the house at that midline, which is like the window frame, right? I'm making sure that's parallel with the window frame, and then I'm going to adjust the verticals. And I usually don't make the verticals exact because that would be exact and that looks a little exaggerated, but just a little closer. So I like that, and maybe crop this down a little bit in 2x3 just to get the house a little more centered. See how these like rule of thirds lines, you kind of want the house centered in those a little bit. Doesn't have to be completely, because we're still like, I don't want to be cutting this tree off right here. I want that included, and obviously I don't want to cut off with the house at all. So kind of looking for that happy compromise. So, and I think that maybe actually coming in a little more is better. Getting this tree out almost entirely. Yeah, I like that. So then next, now same process, just make sure the middle line is correct, and then adjust the verticals, and then constrain crop, and I'm gonna come over with this one a bit. Make sure it's locked on 2/3. And maybe a bit higher, because all this pavement doesn't look amazing. This one looks like it just needs to be rotated a bit. Maybe a little bit of the vertical. Constrain crop. Not much cropping we can do here. There we go. Same thing. This one looks good. Just kind of want to get rid of some of the space over here. Make sure, again, we're on 2x3. This needs to be rotated a bit. Constrain crop. Make sure you hit constrain crop every time you do this geometry. Alright, in this image, this street area right here looks very unappealing to me. So I've rotated it already. I'm just going to come over to this crop, and I'm going to see if I can get this almost all the way out. It's going to be hard to keep this in center and get all this area, and we want the crop to be 2/3. You know, I could even do this, right? And then this is slightly against the rules, but I could just Photoshop this to look like asphalt. Actually, we're not going to do that. It's against the rules. I'm not breaking the rules while teaching a course. I'm just going to get most of it out of the image, if that makes sense, which I think this does a good job of doing that, this framing. And I still feel weird about the rotation. Is it vertically neat? Yeah. So, okay, that's the good geometry for this one. Then we're going to come over here, make sure, again, just doing the same process. Rotate, and then verticals if needed. Hit auto if you're feeling lazy. We already did this one. This one looks looks like it has a little green tint to me. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. This could use some dehaze. These drone photos that are up high, you know, showing the house in the foreground and then like a landmark close, especially on a cloudy day, dehaze is your friend. See how that really made this area of the photo clear? So got that. And now we're gonna bring all of these into Adobe Photoshop. All 16. Yes, I'm okay with overstretching the bounds of Photoshop. I bring all 16 photos in. All right, now we're in Photoshop and we're gonna do sky replacements. As you guys saw from the Photoshop shortcuts video, I have a shortcut for sky replacements, and it's just on my computer. It's just Command W replaces the sky. Goes into the Photoshop's automatic sky replacement. But for those of you who don't know, every time you go into a photo, you just have to come up to Edit, Sky Replacement, click the button. And then it'll come up. There's all these things you can play with. Then you just hit OK. And then you can combine these layers. Usually it's like Alt or Option or Command if you're on a Mac. Command E. And then just save it. Done. Very simple. There's also a whole video on sky replacements that goes into the different scenarios of sky replacements. But for this project, very easy. I'm probably just going to be hitting Command W and then Command S. Sky replacement, then save. So, all right. Now we're at a drone photo. And remember, flip your skies between almost every image, just so you don't get that weird effect where the sky stays the same and then the rest of the image changes on when you're flipping through the images. So you can hit OK. When you're editing a drone photo like this, replace the sky, that's number 1. Combine the layers, then go into your editing files folder, pull out your arrow, put that bad boy on your house, and then you can just keep this as it is because this lake it's very obviously a lake. But if you wanted to, or if your client wanted you to, you could get your brush tool out, select like 30 pixels, make sure your opacity is at 100, select like 30 pixels, and then make it like 50 or high 40s. And then add some text. And then call this lake. You should actually look up the name of the lake. I don't know the name of this lake. I forget. I did this listing a while ago. Lake Right. This is definitely not the name of it, but we'll go with it. Lake Right. And then grab a box and make sure the fill color of the box is black. Pull the layer of that box under the text. Make the opacity 70s or like 50. So you got this nice kind of label for the lake. And then you can just save all that. Yeah, so make sure you have the rectangle tool selected. It might look like one of these tools instead. And then make sure, obviously, like the white line. I like the white text on the black background. I know some people do like the white background with the black text, but whatever you'd like. But real estate agents really, really like when you take drone shots like this. Not every house is going to have a park or a school or a golf course or a lake or a river right next to it that's going to look nice, or a highway. But when they do, these photos are priceless. So nothing really to do with this photo. If you wanted to, you could like bring out the spot heal brush, get rid of these trash cans. But as you can see, yeah, we want that wood to line up. There we go. And for this one, just replacing the sky again. Boom. Save. And then for this one, you can see me in this, so we're gonna spot heal me out. And then we got all these fun trash cans that don't look great. And the wood's not lining up, which is very, very helpful. We love when this happens. So in this case, we're just going to go to our healing brush tool, option select here, and I'm just gonna very slowly gradient this up until it looks right. So that looks not the best, but that looks fine. Like that is good enough. Then we'll come over here. We got another sky to replace. Aha, as you can see right here, the house is not the sky. We don't want the house to be the sky. So we're gonna select the sky replacement group, add a mask, come over here with our brush, make sure not our heal tool, but our brush tool is selected, and make sure the black is selected, which means we're deleting. And then we're just gonna delete all of this sky that replaced over our house. There we go. And then we're gonna save that. Problem solved. All right, and then we got here too. We'll flip this sky. I've been forgetting to flip the sky. I'm not deleting the trash cans in this one because that would be too difficult. I mean, I could do it, but it'd just take a while. And then here, as you can see on a lot of these images, I'm taking the shift edge and I'm increasing it, which makes the sky replacement a little more potent, if that's the right word. And as you can see, this tree kind of blending with the sky, which we don't want. So we're gonna add another mask. This is gonna be a little annoying to get right, but, or maybe not. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. How does it look zoomed out? That looks good. I'm not really gonna worry about the branch, just the tree mainly. It was right this area that was catching my eye. So save that. Next image. Very simple. We're just hitting the sky replacement shortcut, hitting shift edge when we feel like it, when we feel the sky's not potent enough, strong enough. I don't know if I'm using the right vocab. Not an English major. Didn't go to college, so do not claim to be good at words. Not my profession. Kind of is now, teaching, but anyways. Yeah, we're just rocking and rolling with this. All right, last image, or first image, we're doing it last. Awesome. So we have all the images saved. We're just going to quit Photoshop. Now we're back in Lightroom and we can unselect all the sky, all the gray images, all the sad, cloudy day images. And just take a moment to look how much better it is with a blue sky. It really transforms the entire feeling of the image. And that's why it's so important that we do sky replacements on cloudy days. And a lot of times we're doing sky replacements on sunny days too, because the sky doesn't look, that perfect, partly cloudy blue. I know, seems a little ridiculous, but our real estate agents are competing with a bunch of different properties, and you really need these properties to stand out. And if you can make your realtor have the best marketed properties in your town, then your realtor is going to get more listings, and you're going to get more listings because of that. And you're going to get referred, and people are going to be wondering who you are, and it's a great cycle. So now we're done. We're going to export these to the finished 123 Main Street. And then IMG quality. So quality. Think of quality as you're trading off very precise image quality for weight or size of the image. So the lower the quality, the easier they are to handle on the internet, the easier they are to upload for your client to download. But the lower the quality, the lower the quality of the image. However, there's a point of diminishing return when it comes to quality. From 70 to 100, you're not getting that much higher quality. It's not noticeable. And especially when these images are mainly going to be put on the MLS, the quality of the images is not high. Those programs don't want to host and hold on to very high file sizes, so they destroy the quality of the images on a lot of these websites. So a lot of clients really like that I deliver quality 70 because it's just a lot easier for them to download. It's a lot quicker. It's convenience over quality, which makes sense in this case. Not every case, but in this case, it makes sense and clients like it better and they don't notice the quality difference. So we have those exported and we can delete this entire folder. So now you can add another folder, add folder, and go into your desktop, interior, choose. So now we have all of these photos. We're going to user presets, interior, import. Now, same thing. First thing we're going to do, run through and select all of the photos that we want to keep. So as you can see, the air mattress in this staged furniture I'll put up. So I like that. And I like that because it shows it's connected to the bathroom. And I like that because it shows the closet. I like that. Don't mind this dust spot here. It's going to be in all the images and we're going to edit that. I'm going to show you how to edit that out. I've shown you guys in I think in a different video, but yeah. We're going to show you how to edit that out in this as well. I like that because it shows the shower. We do not need to see the toilet. People can assume that there is a toilet in the bathroom. So I'm not going to include this. I'm just going to include this photo. Front door shot. It's a nice shot. I like that straight on. I like both of these photos. So I'm going to select both of them at the moment. Actually, I don't like this photo because I like this photo a lot better. Or this photo. So as you can see, here, the only difference between this photo and this photo is I moved the faucet. But that faucet looks a lot better when we can see the craned neck of it. So I can delete this one. Or not delete, unselect. I like that photo of the fireplace. I like that. I like that. I like a lot of these photos. I know the second selection process is I'm gonna be deleting a lot, so I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I think this is the best kitchen picture. That is kind of redundant, so I'm not gonna select it. Don't think I need that, even though it's kind of nice. I like that. I like that. I like this image, and I really don't like this image, but it does show the back side of the room. So this, I kind of like this, and this maybe. I think this is the best image, actually. I don't know how much I like this. Oh, do I have another? Yeah, I have another image. Okay. Those are the two images I'm going to use. So, and then I'm going to use that one. Don't need two images in that room. Basement. Probably only need a few images of the basement. Probably this one, this one, this one, and then that one. This is the same room, and I think I like, even though the room looks bigger in this image, I think I'm going to go with this one because it's a nice straight on. Flagged. So we got 32 images, kind of a lot. We want to get that number closer to 25 for this house, I think. So we have 3 images of this room. We don't need all 3. I like this one. I don't know how much we need the image of it showing going to the bathroom, like being connected to the bathroom, because it's not another bathroom, it's just connected to the main bathroom. So I think I'm gonna delete that one, keep that. Yep, 2 photos of that room, 1 photo of that room. Really ugly house under construction across the street, but we're gonna ignore that. Those 2 photos are good for that. We have a lot of living room photos here. We're gonna have to get rid of some. I like this. I like this. I don't think we need all 3 of these angles, and I think this is my favorite, so I think we're going to get rid of this one. I like that big shot. I think we see the fireplace enough in these other photos that we don't need this sole fireplace picture. So I'm going to get rid of that. This is kind of a nice straight on, kind of a nice larger image. I don't know, I think I'm going to get rid of both of them, though. Oh, I like that a lot. Did I have... Yeah, I don't need this image because I have this image and this shows the area better. I think that's the image of that dining table or that dining area. I don't know if I need this image. I like these 2. I like that. So I think those are the 3 images of the kitchen. All right, I think the image from this back corner and then this corner show the whole space well. So I think those are the 2 I'm gonna keep. Ooh, I like this one though. What do I like more? I think I like this one the best because it shows more. Yeah, I'll get rid of this one. All right, now we're at that kind of 24 mark. Don't need this picture. Like that one. What do we like better? This one or this one? I mean, this is a main space, so I can use 3. Yeah, I think I'll use 3. Yeah, 24 images. It's fine. It's a good number. So they're all out of order, which is okay. But we're going to start with the exposure. So as you can see, preset's already working its magic. Going to go up a few. I recommend going up till you feel it's overexposed and kind of coming back down. Yeah, I like 90 or 80 here. Probably 90. It's 0.9, but whatever. You know what I mean when I say 90. These look a little warm to me. Not that warm. As they look. It's so hard doing this just by hand. Yeah, I like that. And I like that. And I like that. Okay. I like these a little colder. Because we're going to take the blues out. So if it looks a little too cold, taking the blues out of the image, like... these kind of like the blue in these shadows and these kind of this color cast here, we're going to take all that out. So maybe the exposure should come down a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like where we're going with this. I think 70 or 80, probably 70 is best for this. Little white balance. The white balance needs a little work. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay. My fingers. I got fat finger syndrome. Just missing all the keys. Do do do. Do do do. All right, once you're done fixing any white balance and brightness issues, we're gonna move to the HSL and color sliders. So in all these images, any image with blue kind of color cast in it, we're just gonna take the blue saturation out. So it makes the image a little more simple, easier for the eye to look at. So we're just gonna go through and we're gonna take the blues out of all these images. It's a cloudy day, so it's not that bad because the blue does come from color cast from the sun. But either way, we're just gonna go taking all the blues out. As you can see in this image, there's a nice navy blue blanket, so we're not gonna take the blues out of that. All right, so and then there's this image where there's some color cast here, some color cast here, and then we have blues on the rug and blues on these pillows. All right, in a situation like this where you have color casts on the furniture, but you want to keep the color in some like pillows and blankets or something, or in a painting, what we're going to do is we're going to take all the blue out, and then we're going to come to our masking, select our brush tool, saturation, and we're going to brush the saturation back into what we took it out of, and then we're going to make that a little deeper, and we're going to press enter. So that gives us that nice effect that we want. Taking the blues out of where we don't want them and keeping the blues where we want them. And we're going to do that for all these images. So and then for this one, we can just take the blues out. Really simplifies this kitchen, makes the photos a lot nicer. And then same thing here. We can just add the brush back. All right, so we got the blues all edited. Next step, we are going to do all of the geometry. So I'm hitting auto for most of these because it will do the job just fine. Gotta love automation. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you need to do it yourself. For straight on images, I usually like to select full, but only for straight on images. Everything else I usually go with auto. All right, so on this image, I don't really like what auto does to the photo, so I'm just gonna do it myself using the rotating, and I don't think I need it, but yeah, I don't need it in this image, but the vertical tab if I need it. So in this one, the geometry looks weird because this tank is really odd shaped and it looks like it's leaning to the right, but that's okay. Alright, so as you can see, this straight on image is a little wacky and the auto isn't doing it justice. So I'm gonna get that lined up, use the horizontal and the rotate tabs, hit constrain, then I'm gonna crop this down a little bit so that we're centered up with the middle of the room. Then we'll just hit enter. So now that we've done all the geometry, we can tackle this dust spot. So I should have cleaned my camera before I went to this shoot, my camera sensor. But dust spots will happen sometimes, so we just need to hit this little band-aid icon, select that, enter, and do that for all the photos. Some images you can't see the dust spot because it's hidden in this window, so we don't have to worry about it. And to get rid of dust spots, this is usually the optimal settings. This is usually the optimal settings for getting rid of dust spots. Alright, this one, a lot of times you have to deselect from the dust spot thing to get in. This one's going to be a little difficult. So we're just going to select it. And as you can see, we have to drag it over to an appropriate spot. And hit enter. Then we'll go to the next one. As you can see, it's right about here. Just gonna make sure that line is good. This one's in a weird spot. Yeah, we have to do some manual adjusting for it. Won't worry about that one. This one's in another weird spot. Yeah, there's a weird effect going on here. This one's not that bad, so I'm not going to worry about it. But this one, we're definitely going to get. Anything on a completely blank background, you definitely want to get those out. But one dust spot in a random place, it's kind of in a transition area. Clients, like, no client is going to notice that. I mean, some might ask about it, but it's like, yeah, no client is going to notice that. Alright, so now that we got all those dust spots taken care of, we can go ahead to our library and select the subfolder. Go to the grid. Make sure we only have flagged photos selected. And alright, as you can see, there is a fireplace here. And it's only really in these two images. I mean, it's kind of in this one, but there's no way you'd actually even see the fire if you were from this angle. So just these two. And I'm going to star these images. And then I'm going to hit rated. I'm going to select both of these, and I'm going to edit in Adobe Photoshop. Now we're going to do the fireplace edits. So I explained how to do a fireplace edit in the fireplace and TV edit video. So right now I'm just going to pretend that we did the whole fireplace edits. Ooh, big scary fire. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to do it on the other one. And I'm going to save that just so we can get this done quick. Because all I'm trying to do right now is show you how I export the fireplace replacements versus the non-fireplace replacements. Not actually show you how to do a fireplace replacement because you already know how to do that. The ones with the fireplace replacements will go with the main photos. So I'm going to remove the rating. I'm not going to unflag it, but I'm going to remove the rating of the ones with fireplace. So 0 this one and 0 this one. So now I got these two. And I'm going to export these to finished 123 Main Street, and I'm going to change the custom text to unedited. And then I'm going to start number 1, JPEG 70, export. That will take like a second to export. And then you can just delete these two photos, remove them from Lightroom, or remove each one individually from Lightroom. Okay, now we're in the grid view in the library module. And we're going to reorder these photos. In order to reorder photos, you need to be in the folder that you're in. You can't just be in the catalog. So if I'm in the catalog in all photos, I can't move a photo. Yeah, the current selected source does not support custom order. Okay, so we need to be within the folders tab in the subfolder. So we're in the subfolder. We have flagged selected, so it's all of our edited photos. So where do we start? So the first thing we're going to do is, this is probably going to be the first image, the front door. Then our living room, then dining, then kitchen, then all this kind of stuff. So we're just going to select those, grab them, and pull them down to about here. And then these rooms are mismatched, so I'll put this here. So it's kind of, that's the little order. Then that, and then the basement. And probably the utility in the rooms in the basement after the more finished areas of the basement. Probably do this one over here. But yeah, super simple. Reorder the photos. Then we're going to select them all. And we are going to hit export. And then we just need to bring this back to IMG. And then start number. So can't do start number 1 because you'll get an error message if you had export. See, all these images already exist. But I'm going to hit this because we're going to make note of we have 16 photos. We could just go into the folder and see how many photos we have, but this is actually quicker if you make the error message come up, because it will show you that image 16 is the last image. You can hit cancel, and then you can export starting at image 17, and then export those photos, which will only take a few seconds. Now we're going to go into show.tours, and or whatever delivery system you choose, and we are going to create a new project. And this new project is going to be the name 123 Main Street. Yeah, let's select Wuberneme. Clients, first one, Sabrina. Cool. All right, now we're in the project 123 Main Street, and depending on if you want the project payment to be linked, you can set that up here. For this project, I don't want that. I'm just sending invoices just straight through Stripe. I want a header, and the header I want is a large header, not a small header. Obviously, pick your preferences. Downloads, I want the people to be able to download the photos. And then I'm going to hit gallery, and then I call my main gallery photographs, web, and print. Just so people know, you can print photographs from this folder, or you can use them just online. So I'm going to select all the normal images for this, upload them, and then I'm going to make a new folder, gallery, photos without TV replacements, but without fire edits. And then I'm just going to grab these unedited images. Unedited probably isn't the perfect term, but it's the term I'm going with. And now everything's uploaded. Thank you, fast internet speed. And I am going to create a header using my favorite image, which is probably this one. And that is your final project. All these beautiful images. Lake Wright, definitely not named Lake Wright, with this amazing fire replacement. Top of the line. Just kidding, of course. This is not a real project. This is just for educational purposes only. So we're going to close that preview. And that's it. That is editing to your delivering system. So bringing the raw photos to your delivery system. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.